you like a gift bag?
Thank you all for being here. I'm excited to see so many people in the room, but I can appreciate why so many of you are here because I feel like this is going to be a really great discussion. This came about a few months ago when we were talking about the theme for the upcoming show and just talking about the history of the domestic mills, how things have changed so much over the past 20, 30 years. And our marketing committee thought, well, what a great idea for a panel discussion. So I'm very excited to have a distinguished group here today, as well as our moderator, Tom Russell with Home News Now. I'm going to turn it over to him and let him get started. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Connie. I want to thank you all for being here. This is a subject that for me is sort of near and dear to my heart because I always enjoy getting out to see domestic producers. Most of them have been on the case goods and upholstery side of the business, but I've also had the chance to go to a mill or two and sort of get a little bit educated in the process of domestic manufacturing and the supply side. So I'm very pleased to be here to introduce our panel, and we're going to talk about the state of the union in domestic manufacturing. So thank you all for being here. I'd like to introduce our panelists, Suzie Roberts, Vice President and General Manager of Furnishings for Sunbrella, Sean Gibbons, President of SDI and Revolution Fabrics, and Reynolds, Vice President of Design for Valdese Weavers, and Brian Burke, Director of Operations for Crypton Mills. Again, thank you all for being here. And why don't we start off, if we could, talking a little bit about your company and what its footprint kind of looks like from a domestic manufacturing standpoint. In other words, where your operations are located, where you're headquartered, that sort of thing. So, Suzie, would you like to start?
Sure. So again, Suzie Roberts with Glen Raven Sunbrella, and a little bit about our company. Glen Raven is over 140 years old, still a family-owned textile company here in North Carolina. We do have global operations, but the predominance of what we do is in the U.S. We've got 5 facilities that are in North Carolina and South Carolina. And that is, the heartbeat of our Sunbrella brand is in Anderson, South Carolina. Introduced Sunbrella in 1961 after going through cotton mill is how we started. And then after that, we went into parachute fabrics during the war. After that, we went into various other things like pantyhose, if you can imagine that. So innovation is part of our DNA and who we are. And that's who Glen Raven is. Sharing this one?
Yes. Is it good? Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
Can you hear me? I'm Sean Gibbons. I'm the president and CEO of STI Revolution. We also own Brentwood Fabrics, part of our group. We are located in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. We have 3 facilities there that are around 650,000 square feet. Today we have around 250 associates. It was higher during COVID. We're celebrating our 60th year of business. We opened in 1964, 2 years before I was born. My father started working there around the year I was born. Now my two of my three sons work with me. But we have a lot of employees that have been with us 40 or more years. We've been in the community a long time, and that's important to us. But we do everything in those three facilities, all in Kings Mountain. We do the designing, the warping, weaving, finishing, we make yarn. It's a really great facility. Anybody who'd ever like to come take a tour, we love showing it off. We introduced we've used every fiber imaginable except probably silk. Besides upholstery, we've also been in specialty transportation markets, which we exited that a long time ago, but it gave us a lot of experience. Called flat goods, but also velvets. We've done velvet in the past, so not today. One of the biggest things that ever happened to us, and we were on the net, I was inspired by what my friend Suzie and her group had done in Glen Raven with the Sunbrella brand. We introduced Revolution in 2015, but we wanted to be different. And we not only didn't use PFAS on our product, we made it part of our ethos. And today Revolution still has no chemical treatment and some of the best performance in the industry. We continue to innovate, making the yarns, our extrude. We use synthetic yarns now. We used cotton in the past, but we moved to synthetics because it's really for performance and upholstery. It's a better vehicle, better raw material. And so we introduced the Revolution brand in 2015, and it's really changed our company forever. And we're really glad we did it, and then we've invested heavily to make it a real brand and not just an industry brand. We've been opening an online store to sell it to designers. We see it as a good business, but also we want to be in that ecosystem, reaching the design trade. And this is very different for us because we always sold, not just manufacturers, but really the large manufacturers were our focus. And the Chinese coming in the market heavily in 2005 changed my focus there, and I saw that we needed to expand, we needed to go up, we needed more style, more design, more creativity, and so that's where we are today. So I'm honored to be on the panel.
Thank you. I'm Reynolds again. I'm with Valdese Weavers. Our mill is located in Valdese, North Carolina, foothills of the North Carolina mountains. We have 4 facilities, about 700,000 square feet total, and we have currently about 800 employees, plus or minus. Let's see, where to begin? We started in 1915 as a Valdese silk embroidery mill, and so we've been in business for over 100 years. We celebrated our centennial in, I think, 2015. We became a ESOP company in 2015, and then full ESOP in 2016, 100% ESOP. So we were an employee-owned company, which is very exciting. But the markets that we cover are very diverse. We are in the contract business, so we sell to OEM manufacturers, as well as the hospitality industry, and then of course residential. The brands that we sell are our Valdese Weavers brand, our Circa 1801, which is our boutique brand. We acquired Dicey Fabrics in 2015 also, and so we used the assets from the Dicey mill to actually begin extruding polypropylene, and from there we've become a fully vertical mill, manufacturing our own yarns, novelty clays, air textured yarns, and then we also produce our inside out product line from the Dicey mill assets as well. So those are the brands that we cover, and as Sean said, we've evolved and now we sell to all markets and also the design trade too. So it's evolving world, everything's changing for all of us, but thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Brian Burke. I'm the Director of Operations for Crypton Mills, and Crypton Mills is in Cliffside, North Carolina. So I work for Crypton. It's a 30-year brand, performance technology, selling fabrics into the contract market and to the home market. And so, long story short, Crypton definitely wanted to have a domestic presence to be closer to everyone in this room, to the design community, to customers who could influence what textiles look like. And so we said, let's dive in. We make yarn, novelty yarns. We also weave fabric. We have a finishing plant that finishes the fabric at Crypton Mills, but also part of the Crypton brand. But basically, we're a technology company. And with that said, I've had the pleasure to work with a lot of people in this room because our industry is definitely close-knit, and it's good to see everyone.
Well, thank you all. That's some great descriptions of your companies and your capabilities. Obviously, it's a very crowded field in the textile business, competition across many different fronts. Can you tell us a little bit about how demand has been for you of late? You know, we're in a soft retail environment, a challenging retail environment, and I've heard a lot of companies talk about specific retailers by name, like that they're selling these companies directly as opposed to through a wholesaler or distributor, for example. But what's the business environment been like for you all as a domestic producer of late? Can you share a little insight about that?
I can start. So again, I mean, I think we would all, I mean, we were all chatting before we got started, and the last 4 years I think have been very challenging for all of us. I don't think any of us were immune to that. There's a lot of things happening with, lower consumer confidence today, a lot of geopolitical, so there's a lot of question marks. So I do think retail is still soft right now across the board. But some of the things that we do to address that is we, from the Reynolds umbrella standpoint, in the markets that we serve, we look at it as partnerships. So we really don't look at it as we're trying to just sell a yard of fabric. It really is, how can we address whatever the concerns or goals are that our customers or partners are having? Because it affected everybody differently. Everybody has different goals or different things that they need to overcome. So that's the way that we've approached it, and that's been very successful for us and kept us in a healthy position.
John, would you like to share?
Yeah, we, COVID took us to heights we could never have imagined. I was just spent most of 2020 and 2021 praying that the fax machine would stop. And then in the spring of 22, you could see it sliding and thought, okay, well, that was bound to happen. But then it's gone down to a level, really a recession level, and stayed there for almost 2 years now. And I don't see any end in sight until interest rates are cut and we start selling homes at a much more robust rate than we are today. But I've looked at it as really an opportunity. We've made some really good changes in our business and our team. There's nothing like a slow environment to get everyone extremely focused. We've created some innovation in new yarns and fabric constructions and colorations. We've developed relationships with retailers. We've gone into new markets, and it's all going to make us better at the end of the day. So I think this is going to end up being a really good thing for STI. You have to adapt. You have to be realistic, but the market is very challenging.
And I think likewise, we've found that the collaboration with some of our retailers and has been beneficial to both of us, and we've developed some great partnerships. We've got a retail sales team that's really calling on that demand, and then we've got people, our design staff in-house that focus on that product and putting together beautiful product for those clients. So anything that we can do that's flexible or showing our flexibility and being flexible and nimble is I think very key for us in this environment.
So you're hearing the words relationship, you're hearing the word connection, collaboration with customers, so that's the theme over the last 4 years. To talk a little more broad brush, contract continues to be off. The amount of contract business, even hospitality with the amount of travel that is occurring, that doesn't mean people are investing in the hotels yet, it's starting up. But if a mill is only serving the contract market, it would be very, very tough times. And the growth is starting, but it's still not at the percentage So then the opposite side, of course, is home. It boomed. It continues to be strong. If you have these relationships in place and the customers are willing to share what they're doing, then things can continue very, very strongly. That's if the relationships are there. It's a totally different meeting if the customer is saying, I'm working on X, Y, and Z, here are the color gaps, let's work this out together. If that communication is occurring, things look very, very good. If you're outside of that conversation and a mill or a company is not trusted right now, it's hard to make a way. So in the end, business still remains more than reasonable because of the home side, but for sure, it's mixed.
Brian, you really touched on an excellent point there in terms of the diversification of the business, and I think all of you have addressed that too. And it's, we've heard that like when the residential side is soft, for example, hospitality or hotels would be stronger. So, I mean, are the rest of you all seeing as well more demand on the residential side right now in your businesses? And would you like to start off?
Sure. Yes, because we do service the contract and furnishings industry, but our contract business has been slightly off recently. We cover so many different segments of the contract market that it's hard to say, but definitely a little bit under the interior residential market. So,
yeah. Sean, would you like to? Sean, questions?
Our core business, our largest volume category is with large stocking retailers like Reynolds Planning and Rooms to Go, and then a higher level room and board, people like that, and they do special orders as well. But those large stocking dealers where you can only buy it the way you see it, we still have all of our programs in place, and we've got more programs, but the demand is so impressed that they're there, they're still working, the level of everything is just way down.
Ron, were you going to add something? I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah, so the key to this time is to really be able to get in front of our customer's customer, and that's a difficult opportunity. But our business through Crypton is very strong right now because more consumers believe that performance fabric is important, and as long as it works, then everybody in a way can win because it's cleanable, because it delivers in the promises. So we're finding that as we are educating our customers, as we're getting in front, especially in the marketing side, to the consumer, to the people who are selling, that they really feel good about a performance fabric that keeps its word. Then if you can deliver in the sense of good looks, great hand, lots of texture, and then more than reasonable delivery, stock levels and all the things that it takes, then people are excited. If any one of us perhaps stubs our toe, which just happens in business, like that's really hard. Like it's hard to recover from that. So we're very competitive with each other, but it's because we're all trying to do the right thing, deliver beautiful fabric that works with ethics, right? So that's what we're doing.
If I can just add, because you were talking about residential versus commercial, and I would say from the Raven standpoint, we are in the indoor-outdoor markets, of course, and contract. In contract, we take that down into more of like an office or hospitality, kind of those subcategories. So I'd say that hospitality is still kind of holding its own, right? Where office, as we know, over the last 40 years, that's really declined with remote work. And just going with what you said, Brian, too, indoor and outdoor for us. So I do think during the pandemic, a lot of outdoor, outdoor rooms were recognized. People were trying to get out of their house, so that really exploded. And I do think that people now expect performance fabrics inside. And I do think that outdoor room had a lot to do with it. You can see that you can still have gorgeous textured Sunbrella fabrics outside they can still come inside. So you still have to have that aesthetic, but it really helped on the indoor side of things.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point because certainly within showrooms that we visit at Market, whether it's Vegas or High Point, we hear a lot about some crossover, particularly in upholstery primarily, of indoor looks that can easily work outdoor as well and vice versa. So that's sort of an interesting dynamic. But we also hear that there's a lot of companies on the furniture side, wholesalers, that are looking to tap into the designer market. How strong would you say your business is relating to the design trade? Suzie, would you like to address that?
I mean, so again, we do really look at the design trade and partner with some of our customers that really focus in on that. So we do a lot of design collaboration to make sure that we're getting as much of an offering of Sunbrella out there with our decorative partners in that field. So we have an extensive design library, so we think that we can cover any kind of look that our partners are looking for. So we do address that through our partners to make sure that there is a wide variety of Sunbrella that's available to the design trade.
Yeah, we opened an entire business division in 2017 to address the design trade, and it's our fastest growing segment of our business by far. We started in 2017, now sold cut yardage, Revolution fabric to 30,000 design businesses, and most of those customers are returning because the product number one has really industry-leading performance. Lipstick, mascara, the oily salad dressing, the stains that Suzie Roberts has a hard time holding up to. Revolution did all comes completely off. So we're working with influencers. We're collaborating on collections with people like Cheryl Luckett. We just did a show house in Atlanta with Cheryl. We're making videos. We're posting on social. We're just doing all these things. And when I started 32 years ago, technology didn't exist, but STI was more of a manufacturing-driven mill, and we did sample tags for our marketing. It was non-existent. Maybe a furniture today ad every once in a while. So the world has just changed. We love working with the designers. We like polling them, getting their opinion of fabrics. Yeah, it's made us a much better company working with the design trade.
And same for Valdese, our showroom is here in the tower. We put up a sign that said no designers.
Yeah, we have.
By appointment only. So, but now we actually, as we all are doing evolving and for the market and the world today. So we have our Inside Out brands and our Sustain brands that we market directly to the public. And going after that, we make sure the color palettes are right for the design trade. So anything that we can do, social media, just getting our name out there and continuing to market and design that trade is just evolving.
The best compliment that Crypton's getting right now is like someone will look at a fabric and say, I can't believe this is Crypton. In the sense that our company is soft, and there is not a fiber restriction. That's really exciting, right? So cotton, linen, rayon, of course, basic traditional fibers. All of those are needed when you make novelty yarns, and then you have the soft hand from different fibers. And the only thing that is really hard to deliver on is people want more and more and more color. So even if you have the right textile, if someone perceives it's the wrong color, will you do such and such and I'll give you 60 yards? So those are some of the requests. So there's a balancing act of beautiful, design-driven opportunities that really can't run a mill. A lot of folks don't want to hear that part of it. So that's.
Anne, you mentioned something earlier I thought was interesting about this idea of the name getting out to the public. And obviously there's a way to you make that connection with designers and their clients, but I'm curious about the consumer. I think there's some interest among the American consumer for products that are made in the United States, made in America. I'm just curious to the extent that you work with your customers or retailers to tout the fact that this is a made in America product. And are you getting any traction from that from what you can see at the retail level?
Absolutely. I think that Made in America is definitely a very valid and a strong request. And we do have conversations pretty much with all of our customers. I think it is definitely a topic that comes up every day, especially now at Interwoven. It's something that we all talk about. So,
Ryan, are you seeing any of that as well in terms of the recognition of the brand? It sounded like there is definitely with you folks.
Folks, customers appreciate all of our investment in domestic textiles. For the job side of things, the labor market, the artisans, the whole supply chain, there's a recognition. And something that is not ignored is price. So there's a balance between everything we're bringing as a domestic mill, but yet there is a price point that you have to hit that's reasonable. What reasonable is, that depends on who you're interacting with. But if it's not a reasonable price, then the Made in America only has so much traction.
Sean?
Yeah, Made in America is very important, and we made it part of the Revolution brand. It's not just eyewear or easy to clean, it's also made in America. Almost completely domestic materials, we made that part of the brand. And there's some marketing you can do, some consumers who will support things because they're American made. But I really think I'm here today in STI's in business is because our customers that make upholstery furniture here in the United States, domestic means reliable. If you're in North Carolina, our factory is probably an hour from the furniture factory. And it means you're going to get it. It means there's no ocean freight issues. It means you don't hear it stuck in customs. It don't mean the container's here, but the fabric's wrong. When you can get some more? Well, about 4 months from now, we'll have some unless you want to pay to fly it over at $6 a yard. So we can innovate. Some of our most exciting fabrics here at market, they did not exist. The yarns to make them didn't exist 2 weeks ago. So now we have full color lines. We're ready to start shipping if you want to give us an order. And those are the kind of things you can't do overseas. It means reliability, it means innovation, it means fast to the market.
I'll just add to that, I agree with Sean. I do think, again, I keep reflecting on the last 40 years, but I do think that's why it's become much more important, right? So it's the ease of being able to do that business here in the United States. Now, from Glen Raven perspective, again, most of our Sunbrella fabrics are made here in the USA. We also believe, though, that we've got to be close to our customers and where they are. So that's why we actually have our France and one plant in China. So again, I think it is important, but I do think a lot of it has to do with the supply chain. But we've got our Anderson facility is over 1 million square feet, and again, it's the heartbeat of our Sunbrella brand. And as Sean said earlier, we invite you to come visit anytime because it is a great facility. It's a great way to learn what does go on here in the U.S. And we certainly want to support the communities that we're in and really training and educating our staff and making sure that they're honing in on their craftsmanship.
Thank you, very, very good. I'm hearing a lot, or asking a lot too about just different price points, and just from what I've heard in talking some of the domestic mills that there's some competitive pricing out there right now. Can you talk, and prices and value is sort of in the eye of the beholder, but do you get any pushback from your customers in terms of whether it's a wholesaler or a manufacturer, importer, or a retailer, how much pushback do you get relative to price? Because we know the labor costs are higher here than they are, and the benefits here than they are even in Mexico, certainly in Vietnam, even India and China. I mean, how difficult is it to navigate this subject of price as a domestic producer? Suzie, would you like to try that one?
Sure. I mean, I don't want to answer for everybody up here, but I think, to be completely honest, yeah, sure. We always, price is always going to come up. I do think, again, what we do with our partners here is that we're offering not just a fabric. So once somebody experiences working with us and using our fabrics, we have the most comprehensive warranty that's out there that's covering any issues that may arise. We also have a Sunbrella care team that really works with any of the manufacturers, any of the retailers, and the consumers if they've got questions about how to do something. So we really focus in on what we bring other than just a yard of fabric, and so it really justifies the pricing.
Yeah, what I would add to all that, I agree with all that. Because we sell it as a promotional space, I like it because even our customers there, they don't beat us over the head with what China can do. They know when they get here, we pay us labor and costs, and we can't, we can't hit the price points that China can do. But they want to support us if it works for the mission they're trying to accomplish, which is to make furniture and sell it to whatever retailers they focus on. And they try really hard to use our fabrics because we have relationships, we're reliable, we bring innovation, and they're valuable. So there's always conversations about price, but I feel like we have really good partners too.
And again, I sort of echo both of those sentiments. We, Valdese Weavers, with all of our brands, a sustained brand up to circa, we cover just such a wide range of prices that it's not typically a conversation. And just again, with the partnerships and knowing that it's domestic made, our customers understand it's not typically a big conversation that we